Hello friends, welcome to CEC live lectures on management accounting. We are here to continue our discussion on the topic of service costing. This is going to be part 2 of our discussion on service costing. In the first lecture of mine, I tried to explain to you what are the basics of service costing, and we also had some numerical problems to understand the service costing. And in that very lecture, we took example of a municipal corporation and a transport company, and we exhibited how to calculate the cost of offering those services, or how to calculate the total ton kilometers in case of municipal corporation, that the kind of service they have offered. Now in that series we are going to have another practical problem on the same topic, that is service costing. So I'll be discussing about the calculation of cost, and then deciding the price or calculating the profit for a transport for a transporter, for a person who is into the business of transport. So there is a person called Mr. Bittu. He started transport business with a fleet of 10 taxis. So a person has reported, regarding a fleet of 10 taxis. Life of a taxi is 3 lakh kilometers. Now here the life is not given in terms of time, rather it is given in terms of kilometers to be covered by that particular taxi. So the life of a taxi is 3 lakh kilometers, and at the end of the life, the scrap value, or what you call as the estimated salvage value, is supposed to be rupees 20,000. So at the end of kilometers, once you complete those 3 lakh kilometers, you will be able to sell your car at rupees 20,000, which is your scrap value. Now this information will help us in calculating the amount of depreciation. A taxi is expected to run on an average of 4,000 kilometers per month. This is reported by the transporter, that my taxi is supposed to run on an average of 4,000 kilometers per month. Petrol consumption is 12 kilometers per liter of petrol, costing rupees 30 per liter. So mind here, the rate is not updated. Rate is not the recent rate. It is basically just to make you understand how to do the calculation. So petrol consumption is 12 kilometers per liter of petrol, costing rupees 30 per liter. Now expenses of operating the fleet are provided by the transporter. Cost of each taxi is reported to be rupees 3,80,000. Salary of office and garage staff is 38,000 per month. Rent of garage is 12,000 per month. Driver's salary per taxi is 4,000 per month. Insurance, taxi and sundry expenses per taxi is given to be 55,200 per annum. So some of the costs are given per annum, remaining are provided for per month. Like insurance, taxi and sundry expenses are reported for every year. It is per annum cost. Rest all are the monthly cost. Cost of taxi is of course one time cost. Now what is expected from us? We have to calculate the cost of running taxi per kilometer by preparing a statement of operating cost. So we have to calculate the cost of running taxi per kilometer. So if my taxi is running for 1 kilometer, what is my cost of running? And then we have to find out the profit Mr. Bittu may expect to earn during the first month of operations, if the higher charges is rupees 10 per kilometer. Now here we have a clue, we have an idea that since they are asking about the reporting about the first month of operations, so we shall stick to the monthly calculation, because we have to find out the cost of running that in that particular month, because they are reporting that higher charge is rupees 10 per kilometer. We have to assume that during the month each taxi is running on an average 4,000 kilometers, out of which 800 kilometers it runs without any passenger. So why it is running without passenger? There might be a possibility that you don't have any passenger, or you are having a booking, and to reach to that place of passenger you have to travel. So 800 kilometers is basically a distance which is covered without any generation of revenue. So there is no revenue generated for those kilometers. I'll tell you how to deal with this 800 kilometers. So let us first start with the working note. We will calculate the cost of running taxi per kilometer. So total then for the entire month is 4,000 kilometers. It is reported in the question that you are running for 4,000 kilometers, out of which running of taxi without passenger is 800 kilometers. So if you ask me what is the effective revenue generating run, or what is the relevant run for us, is that of course this 800 kilometer is supposed to be subtracted. So it will give me the effective running of 3200 kilometers. 4000 kilometers minus 800 kilometers. Now 3200 kilometers is the effective running, and for this only, from this only we shall be generating revenue. This we have to keep in mind, my dear learners, because at times you commit a mistake. You feel that, sir, since taxi was running for 4000 kilometers, so we shall be charging revenue, we shall be getting revenue for the entire 4000 kilometer. And here is the point where you are committing a mistake. You will not be getting revenue for this entire 4000 kilometer, because 800 kilometers you are running without any passenger. So who will pay? Since passenger is not there, you cannot charge from yourself. Calculation of total cost per kilometer per taxi we are going to do now. We'll first start with the standing charges. Standing charges means the salary of office and garage staff. It is given to be 38,000 rupees per month. And since we have 10 taxis, we can calculate it for one taxi, because we are computing total cost per kilometer per taxi. So 38,000 per month is the cost divided by 10 taxis. It is giving me the monthly cost of one taxi, which is 3,800 rupees. Rent of garage, it is 12,000 per month, and you have 10 taxis. It is again a monthly cost, 12,000 divided by 10 taxis. So effective rent for one taxi comes to be rupees 1,200. Driver salary per taxi is given in the question, rupees 4,000. So it does not require any further calculation. Insurance, taxi and sundry expenses per taxi, it is given for the entire year. It is given 55,200 per annum. So we'll have to calculate the monthly cost, because all other costs are being calculated for 1 month. So 55,200 divided by 12 months, it is giving me a value of 4,600. Then we have total, we can calculate now the total standing charges, which comes to be 13,600. So we have aggregated what? We have aggregated salary of office and garage staff. We have computed the rent, insurance, taxi and other charges, and the total cost comes to be 13,600. Now we'll calculate the fixed charges per taxi per kilometer. Now this is basically a monthly cost. So 13,600 is supposed to be divided by 3,200 kilometers. Now why are we taking 3,200 kilometers? Because 3,200 kilometers is the total distance which is the effective running for us, which is the run which is giving me, that is offering us the revenue. So 13,600 divided by 3,200 kilometers will give me the fixed charges per taxi per kilometer, and it comes to be 4 rupees and 25 paisa. So my dear learners, here is the point where we should understand what are we doing. We are simply calculating the standing charges for one particular taxi for the entire month, and then we are dividing by the total distance they have covered. So total distance, whatever distance they have covered, we have to basically take the effective run, and that is why we have not taken 4,000 kilometers. We have taken the effective run of 3,200 kilometers. Now fixed charges per taxi per kilometer is known to us. It is 4 rupees and 25 paisa. In the second part, now we'll go for calculating the variable charges. What are the variable expenses? So first expense which we'll take here is the depreciation. Depreciation formula it is known to us. Since there is no mention of any specific method of depreciation, we shall go for the SLM, straight line method. Cost minus scrap divided by life. And here in this question, cost per taxi is given 3,80,000. Scrap value is given to be 20,000. And life is given in terms of 3 lakh kilometers. And mind here, my dear learners, here we won't take 3,200 kilometers. Here we will take 4,000 kilometers, because we have to calculate the effective amount of depreciation. Because as per the total running of car, life is the total life of the car is taxi is given for in terms of kilometers. So of course that kilometer is there. It is there into the existence, regardless of the fact whether you are running your car with passenger or without passenger. So that is why we will take the entire 4,000 kilometers to have a proportionate amount of depreciation, which comes to be 4,800 rupees. So 4,800 rupees is the proportionate amount of depreciation. Now why are we putting it in the category of variable expenses? The reason is very simple, because it is in terms of kilometer. the entire life of car is not given in terms of time, it is given in terms of kilometers. That is why we are putting it in the category of variable. Otherwise, definitely, of course, we must have put it in the segment of fixed cost. Cost of petrol, it is given that your average mileage from car is 12 kilometer per liter. So total 4000 kilometers we are covering, divided by 12 kilometer per liter is giving me the total consumption of petrol, that is 333.33 liters. And since the price of per liter of petrol is reported to be rupees 30, we shall multiply this 333.33 liters into 30 rupees to arrive at a total cost of petrol, which comes to be 10,000 rupees. Now, after getting this amount of depreciation and cost of petrol, we can compute the total variable cost per taxi per kilometer. Now, the total cost comes to be 4,800 plus 10,000, 14,800, and again here we have to divide it by the effective running of the car. What is the effective running? The revenue generating one, that is 3,200 kilometers, and it is giving me per variable cost per taxi per kilometer of 4.625. So 4.625 is my variable cost per taxi per kilometer, and already I have computed the fixed charges per taxi per kilometer, that is 4.25. We shall aggregate both of them to arrive at total cost per kilometer per taxi, which comes to be rupees 8.875. So my dear learner, in this way we have computed the cost per kilometer per taxi. So one taxi, if it is running for 1 kilometer, we are incurring a total cost of 8.875. Now this is till this point we have only ascertained the cost of running. We have ascertained the cost of running. Now what are the important points to be kept in mind here up till now? Number one is how to calculate the amount of depreciation. Here the calculation of depreciation was entirely different from the traditional method, because normally the life used to be given in terms of time, number of years. Here the life is given in terms of kilometers. So that is one point. Another point is that they are not giving you the complete consumption of petrol or fuel. They are telling you about the mileage which you are getting, 12 kilometers per liter, and total distance is also given. So we have computed the distance covered, the total amount of petrol which we are supposed to consume, and price per liter is given, and by multiplying both of them we have got the total cost of petrol. So after computing the total cost per kilometer per taxi, now we are in a position to prepare a statement showing monthly profit of the transporter, that is Mr. Bittu. Higher charges per kilometer reported in the question is 10 rupees. It means what? This transporter, when he is going to give his taxi on hire, then charges per kilometer are rupees 10, and the total cost per kilometer per taxi is 8.875. So if you ask me whether the transporter is making profit or not, answer is yes. The profit per kilometer comes to be 1.125. So with this calculation, the transporter could calculate the the cost per kilometer, and then the same can be compared with the higher charges. And this is practically speaking, this is the way all transport companies they are operating. They first calculate their total cost per kilometer, that what is my cost per kilometer, what is my cost of running per kilometer, and after knowing that they add their margin and tell that these are my higher charges, and this is the way they report. So total profit per taxi, if you ask me, it comes to be 1.125 into 3,200 kilometers. Mind here again, some of the students, they commit a mistake here. They multiply this profit per kilometer with that of 4,000 kilometer, which is wrong, because 4,000 kilometer is not giving me the revenue. I am getting revenue out of only effective running, that is when the passenger is there inside the taxi, when the passenger is availing the service, and that comes to be 3,200 kilometers. So total profit per taxi comes to be rupees 3,600, and since this operator is having 10 taxis, very simple to calculate the profit, profit per taxi multiplied by number of taxi, and it is giving me the total profit of 36,000 rupees per month. So this is the way we calculate the cost as well as the profit while applying this operating costing, or what you call as service costing. This was another example of a transporter who is offering this services, taxi services. They had fleet of services, and this is the way they calculate their cost and determine their profit. Now we shall move on to some other interesting problems on services costing, so that you have a better understanding of this operating costing, or what you call as service costing. Now we shall take another example of a different type of company, where a company is running a holiday home. So a company which is running a holiday home, for which they have hired a building on rent, and the rent for that building they are paying is rupees 10,000 per month, along with 5% of total taking. So whatever is their total taking, total taking means what is the total input, total profit, total revenue which they are going to generate. So it's a company which is running a holiday home, for which they have hired a building, and they are offering this service, and they are reporting us that they have 3 types of rooms with these details. They have single, double and triple, 3 categories of room, and number of rooms are also reported. In single category they have 100 rooms, in double category they have 50 rooms, and in triple category they have 30 rooms. And what is the occupancy percentage? 100%, 80% and 60%. When they say that in double category they have 50 rooms and their occupancy is 80%, it means out of 50 rooms only 40 rooms are occupied, remaining 10 are vacant, they are not occupied. And when they say that single room is 100% occupied, it means all rooms are occupied by the customers, by the clients. The rent of double room is to be fixed at 2.5 times of the single room. See, this is the philosophy this company is following, that the rent of double room is supposed to be fixed at not double but 2.5 times of the single room, and that of triple room as twice of the double one. So we have to understand, this is going to help us in calculating the cost, calculating the price, the charges which this company will charge from the customers. The rent of double room is to be fixed at 2.5 times of single room. So whatever is the rent of single room, suppose if it is 100 rupees, then the rent of double room is supposed to be 2.5 times of that, which means 250 rupees, and that of triple room is supposed to be twice of the double one. So if double one is being charged at 250 rupees, the price of the triple occupancy should be, the triple room should be double of that amount, that is 500 rupees. The other expenses reported for the year is provided to us. The annual expenses: room attendance charges, staff salary, lighting, heating, etc., repairs and renovation, laundry charges, interior decoration, sundries. So these are the annual expenses which they are reporting, that we have to pay this much of amount on account of these expenses. Now what is required from us? We have to provide profit at the rate of 20% on total taking and assume 360 days in a year. So this service provider is telling us that they wish to provide a profit at the rate of 20% on total taking. So whatever is their total taking, they want 20% of profit on that, and we have to assume 360 days in a year, not 365. And they are asking us to calculate the rent to be charged from each type of room to ensure the aforementioned profit. Now this is the way management accountants, they exercise this ascertainment and controlling of cost. They are interested in knowing that how much amount should we charge from customers in across the category of rooms to ensure the profit of 20% on total taking. This is what they are willing from us. Now the question comes, how to calculate it? It is very simple. Let us now go for ascertaining the cost, and then we shall be adding margin to that, markup to that, to arrive at the price which we are supposed to charge. For deciding the price, you should mind here that at the very outset the question reported that whatever is the rent of the room having single occupancy, the single room, the double room should have 2.5 times of that, and the triple should have double of the double charges of the double room. So for triple you have to refer to the charges of double room, and for double you have to refer to the charges of single room. But the irony is that the charges for no room is provided to us. So at times when this question comes in front of our learners, they find it as a kind of dead end where they cannot calculate. But no, it is very easy to calculate. I'll tell you how. So let us first try to have a total equivalent single room, because our point of reference is supposed to be single room, because once we decide the price of single room, we can easily determine the price of double and triple room. So let us first calculate the occupancy. I am starting from the single room. We are having 100 rooms and we are working for 360 days as reported in the question. So 100 into 360 days, it will give me the total operations into 100%, so which comes to be 36,000. Now this 36,000 is what? 36,000 is occupancy. Now why have we multiplied it by 100%? Because the question has reported that single rooms are occupied to the extent of 100%. So if you ask me equivalent single room, 36,000 into 1, we shall assume the price to be 1, because this is the point of reference. So I would say that for this single room, equivalent value comes to be 36,000, right? For double room, the same process we shall follow. 50 rooms into 360 days. Now this is having an occupancy of 80%, so we shall multiply it by 80%, which gives me a value of 14,400. Now this 14,400 is my equivalent single room, right? And the question reports that whatever is the single room, the double room charges should be 2.25 times of that. So we'll multiply it by 2.25 and it will give me a value of 36,000. For triple room, 30 rooms into 360 days into 60%, 6,480. So we have two ways. Either we multiply it by 5 or we take up the second one value and multiply it by 2. But here it is logical to take 5, 6,480 into 5, because 2.25 into, if we double it, it becomes 5. So it gives me a value of 32,400. Now we have equivalent value for all three categories of room: single room, double room, triple room, keeping in mind their capacity utilization, number of days and number of rooms in each category we have. So we have now accounted for all three components: number of rooms, capacity utilization, and number of days for which you are operating. And additionally, we also have considered the proportionate price changes across the category of rooms. So this gives me the total value of 1,04,400. Now you must be having a question in your mind: what will I do with this 1,04,400? So let us see what we are going to, where are we going to use this 1,04,400. So we'll prepare a statement showing total cost. I have not done anything different. I have simply aggregated the entire cost. Whatever cost was reported in the question, I have simply aggregated them: 14,25,000, 450, 215, 123, 500. So without any change into that, I have simply aggregated, and the cost comes to be 25,21,000. This is my total cost. I have simply added all of them to arrive at this value of 25,21,000. Now this is the point. Henceforth we'll do the calculation. Up till now there was no calculation for the purpose of computation of cost. Now we are going to calculate the cost. Total cost comes to be 25,21,000, which is reported in the question. For building rent, question is saying that the charge is 10,000 rupees per month, and since in a year we have 12 months, we shall be paying 1,20,000 rupees on account of building rent. And then we have to add 5% on total taking, but irony is that total taking is not known to us up till now. So we shall simply write plus 5% on total taking, because I can only calculate total taking when I have the charges for each category of rooms, and that is something which I have to calculate. So unless I calculate, I cannot calculate the value of this 5% on total taking. So I shall write 1,20,000 plus 5% on total taking. So if you ask me what is my total cost after including cost of building rent, it comes to be 26,41,000 plus 5% on total taking. So what I have done, I have simply added 1,20,000 rupees of building rent into the total cost of 25,21,000, and this value comes to be 26,41,000 plus 5% on total takings. For profit, question is reporting, now this is my total cost. For profit, question is reporting that you have to add 20% of total takings. Now again, the question mark is that I cannot calculate the amount of profit unless I have total takings, and I can calculate total takings only when I have the charges, the rates for every category of room which we are going to charge from our customer, and that is something which we have to calculate in this question. So 20% of total taking is supposed to be written here. Now I would write here what is my total taking. I would say 26,41,000 plus I would add both the percentages, 5% on total taking plus 20% on total taking on account of profit, which comes to be 25% of total takings. So 26,41,000 plus 25% of total takings. This is up till now I have written. Now here is the point where you have to pay little attention. Computation of room rent. So let us assume the room rent of single room to be X. Just like in doing all mathematical calculations, we either assume X or we assume 100. I am assuming X. Now 1,04,400 is what? It was the equivalent total value which we had computed. So 1,04,400 X is equal to what? 26,41,000 plus 25% of 1,04,400 X. If I solve it, I get a value of X. Value of X comes to be how much? It comes to be rupees 33.729, or you can call it 33.73. When we simply put the value of when we simply solve this equation, I find the value of X, and X is what? That is something which we had assumed, that the room rent of single room to be X, and X comes to be 33.73. So my dear learners, by simply assuming the rent of single room to be X, we are able to calculate the value of X, that is the rent of single room. And once it is computed, remaining to is a minute job. Let us see how to calculate. Very simple. The price of single room is 33.73. For double room, it was written in the question that the policy of management is that it has to be 2.5 times of single room. Very simple, 33.73 into 2.5 times, and the value comes to be rupees 84.325. For triple room, it is twice of the double room, so I'll take up the price of double room, that is 84 rupees and 32 paisa, multiplied by 2 times, and it comes to be rupees 168.65. Some students, what they do, alternatively for triple room, they are taking 33.73, multiplying it by 5. They are also correct in their own way. And my dear learner, this is the way, these hotels, these service providers, they decide their rent to be charged from the customers. So with this, we have learned how to not only ascertain the cost, but also determine the price or the rent to be charged after including that markup or what you call as profit into that cost to arrive at a selling price. So I hope you must have understood and enjoyed today's lecture of mine. With this, I am ending today's discussion on service costing. Thank you so much.